You guys just did a big study with Adobe about ad blocking, the whole issue of ad blocking. How pervasive, what have you found? What's going on?
It was kind of surprising, right? We did a study last year and we anticipated that it would grow by 43% at around this time last year. It turns out that it actually grew by 69% over the last 12 months. By our best estimate, there's 144 million unique ad blockers out there at the moment, which would be about 5% of the internet. But the thing is, it's actually focused on the demographics that the advertisers are most trying to reach. So it's focused on millennials, especially people under the age of 29. Sure, well these ad block plugins, they're open source plugins. The users install them, and they act like firewalls in the browser that stop the browser from connecting to any ad servers. That might be an ad server serving a banner or a video ad, it doesn't matter. And the way video players work is, if it can't connect to the next thing in the playlist, it just moves on. So when it gets to an ad, it can't connect, it just moves on to the next segment of video. So an ad block user would typically install AdBlock to remove the banner ads, for instance. And incidentally, they end up killing all of the in-stream advertising as well in video. It's normally not even a conscious choice they make.
How big is that? I mean, I don't know, that's probably a smaller piece, but how big is video ad blocking, would you say?
Well, it's the same size as banner ad blocking because it's exactly the same piece of software. The end user installs that add-on into their browser, and it removes all ads by default of all kinds. So in terms of absolute size on the PageFair network, so we help publishers identify how much ad blocking they're exposed to, and we give them a solution to it as well. On our network, it's 20% on average of all ads that are blocked. All publishers are affected by this. The degree to which they're affected is really a function of their site demographics. In the report we did, we drilled into the demographics of ad blockers, and it clearly showed some trends. Some countries are higher than others. Poland is particularly badly affected. Germany is very badly affected. The US and the UK are also very, in our stats we see 18% ad blocking in the UK, about 16% in the US. So it's still quite acute. It's particularly high with younger users, so if your site has a lot of people under 25 in it, your ad blocking is going to be very high. And it's especially acute as well with any technical users. So the more technical they are, the more likely they are to know how to install AdBlock, and there you go again. The worst affected are game sites. If you're a publisher of a game site, you're probably seeing an ad blocking rate of over 30%. So 30% of your revenue down the toilet.
So what are publishers to do? What's the industry to do? Or should they do anything, or can they do anything?
It's a complicated industry, right? So there's a lot of different responses required. The first thing publishers can do is try and understand how exposed they are to ad blocking. So they can install a tool like ours for free and get a free audit. It's nice and fast. And then they'll understand where they stand today. But as an industry, we all have to come together to come up with a way to address this. When we look at the actual ad block users, it turns out that they're not against advertising on principle. They're not communists or anti-capitalists or anything like that. It all comes down to certain kinds of ads, right? They don't like very intrusive ads like interstitials or popovers, so they install AdBlock. And then they incidentally get rid of all other advertising as well. So I think we've got to look at the fact that these younger users are more technically literate, right? And they're also more media literate, and they're expressing a strong dislike of certain ad formats. Right? So we should look at that and think, well, maybe there's an opportunity to address that audience in a way that's more appropriate. And as an industry, we can come together and look at that.